On 7's Gold Coast News, the review of 2032 Olympic venues gets underway, where Tom Tate would like the Gabba billions spent. Gold Coast residents left in the dark by the Christmas tornado now asked for proof they lost power. Adding insult to injury, thieves help themselves to what's left of a man's storm-damaged home. The ambulance service worried about the number of drowning incidents it's attended these holidays. And the new music festival to hit the Gold Coast later this year, one of the biggest acts of the 80s to headline.
Live from the Gold Coast, 7 News with Steve Titmus.
Good evening. The review of venues for the 2032 Olympic Games began today with the controversial Gabba redevelopment all but certain to be scrapped. Gold Coast Mayor Tom Tate says some of those billions would be better spent on the coast, and he has a few ideas where the money should go.
With the 2032 Olympics now under the microscope, the Mayor has one message.
We're here to help.
Today, an independent 60-day review began evaluating all Games venues.
To see if there is a better way.
But also a cheaper way. The major stumbling block, the $2.7 billion Gabba redevelopment.
I'm hopeful we can find an alternative here that provides better value so that the funds that we have committed can be directed to other uses.
Tom Tate hopes that money works its way down the M1, his main priority increasing the capacity of Heritage Bank Stadium to 36,000.
Cricket will be part of the Olympics. Heritage Bank Stadium would be a great venue for cricket. Case in point, the BBL this Friday.
The Mayor will make his submissions next week, pushing for more sports. He wants hockey to be held at Hunt Park, plus swimming at the Aquatic Centre, which he says is due for an upgrade.
We're happy to joint fund. It makes sense to me to take it up to Olympic standard. Wouldn't be that hard.
If the panel believe that there may be other sites which are currently not on the list of intended sites, then we will certainly be recommending that they be looked at.
To bring more gold medals to the Gold Coast. Jordan Quinn, 7 Gold Coast News.
A Pacific Pines family whose home was torn apart by wild weather has been robbed. Mel Whiteman, this is the third time that looters have helped themselves.
To hundreds of dollars worth of valuables, Steve. The roof of the Craig family's home was ripped off by the Christmas tornado. Almost everything inside was damaged or destroyed, making what little could be recovered even more valuable. The family had collected those items, ready to move them into storage, but before they could, thieves let themselves into the house, taking expensive tools, a fishing tank and camping gear. Michael, the homeowner, told 7 News it's even more of a blow because the equipment had been used on trips, creating precious memories with his young children. He says it's also dangerous because mould is growing in the house. Fed up, today he took to social media, pleading for the looting to stop as the family tries to recover.
Mel Whiteman there with that report. There's outrage after residents who spent days and weeks without power following the Christmas tornado are now being asked to prove they lost electricity. Many have received letters saying they need to show they were without power for 5 consecutive days before they'll be paid the Essential Services Hardship Assistance Grant. That proof needs to come from Energex, which is advising people to call the Department of Communities. The grants are worth $150 per person, up to $750 for a family of 5 or more. The lawyer for a truck driver who recorded a high-range blood alcohol reading has told a Gold Coast court his client intends to plead guilty. Police found a Gurjit Singh Gill in his rig on the side of the road at Coomera with an empty alcohol bottle beside him. It's alleged his truck was still running and that he tried to flee. The case has been adjourned to next month. The vouchers on offer to attract more tourists to the Gold Coast are going fast. In just a few days, 30,000 have been claimed. They're designed to help operators impacted by the bad weather, but overall, it looks to have been a good summer.
The beaches aren't bustling, conditions are far from perfect, but still operators say the summer holidays have been a success.
We've seen almost full occupancy throughout December as well, and looking into January it's looking really promising, and we're full pretty much all the way through.
Unpleasant weather didn't completely turn the crowds away. Instead, they've been looking for things to do indoors.
It's all been a bit funny, but it's part of the way it is, and you just deal with it and come down and have a bit of fun anyway.
At the moment, we've got below freezing at home, so but I have come to Australia many times, so I know what Australia's like.
On Monday, the government announced 50,000 vouchers would be up for grabs to give weather-affected tourist attractions a little extra boost. 30,000 have already been claimed.
Add to the $50 they have to spend to get the voucher, that's a $5 million input into our theme parks and our tourism business.
The next chance for operators to cash in is the Australia Day long weekend. They're hoping for good weather and for people to spend all 3 days on the Gold Coast.
Being the Gold Coast, it's one of those consistent markets where all year round we're kept busy.
Reinforcing why it's Australia's tourist mecca. Georgia Costi, 7 Gold Coast News.
Meanwhile, swimmers are being warned to take extreme care following a rapid rise in near drownings. Let's go to Liam Bland. Paramedics are pleading with parents to keep a closer eye on their kids.
Steve, first responders have been called to 29 drowning incidents already this summer, 11 of those since New Year's Day. That's the highest amount of any area in the state. The ambulance service says the constant call-out is taking a toll on its crews and that in many cases the incidents have been totally avoidable.
Make sure the children are visualised, don't just rely on cries for help, because drowning is a silent killer. Quite often there is no noise. And it only takes seconds and minutes, and with no noise, a tragedy can quickly unfold.
Swimmers are being told to be careful in the region's rivers and creeks, which are currently murky and filled with storm debris, but the majority of drowning incidents have occurred on beaches and in backyard pools. And if you are by the beach, the best advice remains the same: swim between the red and yellow flags.
Yeah, Liam Bland there, some great advice always. A feast for fans of 70s and 80s pop, rock and punk is coming to the Gold Coast. Blondie and Alice Cooper will headline the new Pandemonium Festival in April. At Butter Beats record store in Southport, there's Pandemonium over the city's newest event. In April, the Pandemonium Festival will rock Doug Jennings Park at the Spit, headlined by 80s legend Blondie. Alice Cooper will bring the shock rock. He'll be 76 years old by the time he takes to the stage.
Get off over there and be scared by Alice Cooper. That'll be pretty cool.
Also on the bill, punk icons, the Dead Kennedys, and alternative rockers, the Psychedelic Furs and Placebo.
This lineup is massive, having those big artists coming here all in one concert. If you miss it, you're being silly in a way, because who knows that this will ever come back again like this.
I don't think anyone's going to complain. Some good live acts like that, big names, and the Gold Coast needs more of it.
Some of the headline acts haven't performed on the coast for more than 2 decades. There are 20,000 tickets on offer. General admission is $250 and pre-sale opens on Monday as the city prepares to rock hard. What a lineup. Let's go to a rocker from way back, Tony Auden. Tony, what's the latest on today's storms?
Steve, just a couple of quiet open mic nights here and there. Now, onto the storms. As expected, it's been mostly dry on the coast so far, but we do have a little bit of activity closing in from the west, jumping to the radar. It's just starting to spill over the ranges to inland parts of the southeast as we speak. A couple of smaller cells over the far northern coast. Warnings are current inland with damaging wind possible, but heavy rain is the main threat. I think we're most likely just to see some of that light to moderate and thundery rain in the evening hours and overnight. Now, looking ahead, it'll be a mixed bag for the last few days of school holidays. A dry start tomorrow before more showers and the odd storm into the afternoon. That could last overnight and through most of Saturday. Then it all eases back pretty quickly on Sunday. So you'll have to time your chances to get the kids out and about. Steve, I'll be back soon with the forecast.
Yes, all the jobs in the morning. Thanks for that, Tony. It's a painful condition that affects 1 in 7 women, and many wait years for a diagnosis. Now, new help is on the way on the Gold Coast. A once great Aussie motorcycle racing talent gone too soon. Australia's motorcycle racing fraternity is mourning the sudden passing on the Gold Coast of a once great talent. Anthony the Go Show Gobert was a sensation when he started racing superbikes in the 90s. He joined the Suzuki Grand Prix team in 1997 but was sacked after a positive drug test. Gobert continued racing into the mid-2000s, but his life spiralled into addiction. He was just 48. It's a crippling condition causing debilitating pain, and yet endometriosis is often ignored, but not any longer. A new clinic dedicated to helping women has officially opened at Benoa.
Leticia Avila has heard it all.
You have to suck it up, and the comments that you get, that's just, you're just being a baby, or you're being too dramatic.
The mother has suffered from endometriosis for years, a painful condition where tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows outside it.
It's debilitating and it's stigmatised.
But now Leticia feels supported at the Benoa Super Clinic.
The human approach, the understanding that I felt validated.
The Gold Coast's first clinic focusing on endo and pelvic pain officially opened today. GPs, nurses, a physio, dietitian and psychologist available to diagnose and treat women more quickly.
It is crucially important that we reduce the delay in diagnosis down from between 6 and 8 years.
The clinic's been operating for about 6 months and has already seen more than 300 patients.
Got more and more doctors coming on board, so our capacity will increase, and I think at the moment our waiting time to get an appointment's literally within the week usually.
For far too long, women have felt unheard, unsupported, unbelieved.
Not anymore. Mel Whiteman, 7 Gold Coast News.
That's the news. Let's now talk about all the day's sport with Sally Pearson. Sal, 2 Gold Coasters claim the BBL's highest honours.
Yes, and a win on Friday would top it off, Steve. Hello, everyone. Coming up next, the Heat's hometown heroes named in the Team of the Year tournament. Plus, we reveal the nominees for one of the city's most prestigious sporting awards.
In 7 News, first the rain, now our big pothole problem. The damage to tyres and cars. What's been done to fix it? Plus, beating the back-to-school budget blowout. The Southeast woman handing out free book packs and uniforms. Where and when to get them. 7 News at 6.
Xavier Bartlett's been rewarded for his breakout season in the BBL, one of 2 Gold Coast Dolphins named in the All-Star team. Meanwhile, the Brisbane Heat is soaking up time at its home away from home ahead of tomorrow's final at Carrara.
Spending the morning in the sand, showing the next generation a thing or two.
It doesn't feel long ago that I was sort of with them playing club cricket.
The Gold Coast Dolphins climbing to the top of the BBL ranks. Waking up to the news he's made the tournament's Team of the Year.
I woke up at 8 o'clock and had a couple of congratulations texts and I saw on Instagram and Facebook. So, no, it's a huge honour.
A team that's not complete without his best mate Xavier Bartlett. The TSS old boy is leading the wicket-taking tally. Playing in front of a home crowd at Heritage Bank Stadium makes Friday's final with the Sixers less daunting.
Family, friends, mum and dad, sisters, so it should be good.
They'll have heaps of family there and friends, no doubt, so they'll be really pumped to put a good performance and hopefully we can help them out and make sure they do.
Savannah Burke, 7 Gold Coast News.
The city is one step closer to crowning the next Gold Coast Sports Star of the Year. Nominations for the prestigious award will be revealed tonight in Southport. Savannah Burke has more. Thanks, Sal. Well, the 55th Gold Coast Star Sports Awards are right around the corner, but there can only be one winner. Tonight, the nominees for the prestigious prize will be announced. Jeff, tell me who is and which athletes are eligible for this award?
Well, the athletes have to be born on the Gold Coast or have resided here for at least 3 years, so that encompasses quite a range. And it goes through a very detailed process through the Gold Coast Sporting Hall of Fame.
What is the process in selecting the winner?
The process is that the Gold Coast Sporting Hall of Fame has a selection committee of journalists, sports journalists, former athletes and champions who have to go through the criteria and meet regularly through the year to select the champions from each category.
Who are the favourites?
Well, the favourites for the major award this year, of course, is Jay Opatera. There's also Ali Day, and we've got two Matildas, Mackenzie Arnold and Hayley Rasso, in that category.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time tonight, Jeff. Sal, all the winners will be revealed at the Royal Pines Resort on March 9. Oh, Steve, there are plenty of standout performances to choose from, I'm sure.
Started line-up, it'll be.
It will
Good
be.
Sal. Thanks for that. Catch you tomorrow. Coming up in the news at 6, why a US court has taken a big bite out of the new Apple Watch.
And I'll have the latest on today's storms, plus the weekend forecast. That's coming up next.
Will the Gabba rebuild be axed? Here's Max Futcher to preview 7 News at 6.
Steve, just ahead, the new Gabba and other key venues on the chopping block as a major planning review begins, plus potholes and unexpected road hazards after the rain. The clown who held up a southeast store. D-Day in Queensland for supermarket giants called to explain soaring food prices. The Redcliffe woman giving away free uniforms and book packs to struggling families. And the school about to welcome 5 sets of twins into prep. 7 News at 6 is next.
And before we get there, it's time for the weather. And Tony, a few storms are closing in this evening.
Steve, it's held off most of the day, but we will likely hear a few drops on the roof over the next few hours. Now, here is how it looks on the radar. Rain areas streaming towards the coast this evening with some bigger storms and warnings lingering well inland and further north. Now, I think we'll see a few periods of thundery rain over the next few hours. It was like a sauna today. Check out these minimums, 25 degrees along the coastal stretch, and the feels like temperature up around 30 degrees for most of the night. Now, today, most spots were into the 30s and staying humid. Now, just let me click through here. As we move on to the bigger picture, inland storms have been firing away near a trough lying across the Darling Downs with heavy and humid air mass to its east. Tomorrow that trough lingers into our neck of the woods, so it will stay hot and humid with more showers and storms feeding off that juicy atmosphere into the afternoon. No big changes with the cyclone threat. We will need to watch as this low here, well, what it does into the mid to late parts of next week. It could still impact the Queensland coast. Now, we can expect another very muggy night with periods of thundery rain, then extended dry breaks through the morning before some punchy showers and the odd storm get going again into the afternoon and evening. 23 up to 32 degrees in Coomera. In Surfers Paradise, 23 tonight, back up to 31 degrees with showers and a rumble peaking into the afternoon. Bode's tricky winds with that trough closing in, starting northwest early, swinging northeast in the early afternoon, then we could see that southeast change arriving late afternoon and evening. Now, checking the diving conditions and visibility at Wonder Reef has been incredible lately, 25 metres plus with plenty of fish. The water temperature up at a balmy 26 degrees. Lower visibility at Cook Island and Palm Beach Reef, just below 4 metres there. The pick is definitely Wonder Reef and the weekend forecast is looking promising. Now, above the water, that swell hung in this morning with plenty of waves on offer for the beaches. Some great options for both short boarders and long boarders alike. Into tomorrow, similar or slightly smaller east swell hanging in there, so there will be waves. Try the northern pockets early and the southern points may just clean up late in the day if that southeast wind change arrives. Looking ahead, showers linger into Saturday, possible at any stage, then it clears up pretty quickly from Sunday onwards. The odd sprinkle is still possible into next week, but plenty of dry breaks. Steve, I know we'll be ready for those skies to clear up after the next round of showers.
Oh, we certainly will be, Tony. Some wonderful dive pictures there as well. Terrific. Tony Auden there with the latest with the weather. And that is your local Gold Coast news for this Thursday. We'll have more again, of course, tomorrow at 5:30. On behalf of all the team, have a great night. In just a sec, we'll go to Max for 7 News at 6. Bye for now.